What is going on, Mount Silver Battles? This is the Croc to bring the second generation TGBDual Pokemon Crystal Wi-Fi battle versus Gleam. The last match I had versus Gleam, unfortunately, was just a train wreck from one status and just went downhill after that. So, let's get into this team preview, shall we? Looking at my team, I have a Electabuzz, which is going to be my lead, and you guys will see why in the match. I have a Slowking, which is a Thunder Wave Psychic Surf. Thunder Wave Psychic Surf and Rest. Dodrio, which is my special set. Berserk Gene Gramble. Those of you that have seen my channel know all about Berserk Gene Gramble. Vileplume, aka Dahlia, has replaced Bayleaf because she can take fighting a hell of a lot better. And she has Stab Sludge Bomb, Leech Seed, and Moonlight Shenanigans. And, of course, my physical wall, my cursing, exploding Sudowoodo. I hope you guys enjoy my second submission to Mount Silver Battles and enjoy the game. And check out my channel if you like the content. I'll see you then. Alright guys, with that, let's jump directly into this trial. I'll be facing Gleam today. Gleam's going to be leading here with Jumpluff. I'm going to be leading with my Electabuzz. Now, my Electabuzz could deal neutral damage to this thing with Thunderbolt, but considering he's leading with this Jumpluff, they are notorious for putting things to sleep. So I need to find a recipient of that sleep powder, and it is going to be none other than my Weapon X, my Slowking. Now, a lot of people in the second gen community recognize Weapon X as a specific Slowking set because it was used by a group member of ours that started, but it's not that set, and I will reveal that later. So, Vileplume's going to go for the hidden power. Looking by that damage is probably going to be flying. I was going to go for a Leech Seed, hoping he might switch out already using the sleep powder, but he decides to go for the hidden power and follow it up with an Encore to lock my Vileplume in, forcing my switch. So I've got to figure out something to go into. He's going to Leech Seed whatever comes in because he knows I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to be switching into my Dodrio. Now, Dodrio is one of the scariest things in underused format that normally Rest Hawk users, and still very offensive and very strong, very good Jumpluff, anti-Jumpluffs and stuff like that. So, I'm going to go for the Drill Peck here. It's going to do a ton of damage. I know on this turn he's going to switch out into whatever he has on his team to resist said Drill Peck. So this time I'm going to go for the Return. Now, I have Return over Double Edge for a particular reason if you look at my moveset for legality purposes, but I'll get into that when the time is right. So, Raichu here is in. I'm going to be switching into my Zetronius because I know I could take absolutely anything from this thing. And I could set up Light Screen so I don't have to deal with the likes of any other type attacks. But it kind of surprises me with this Raichu as I set up my Light Screen. He goes for the Swagger. He's all coming in here all pimping bad. He's all good. Setting up a Swagger. Going to sharply raise my attack right there. And that's really kind of strange. I'm kind of wondering what he might be pairing that with. But I'm going to switch out into Phoenix Wright Nick. And Dynamic Punch is going to do just under half. And he is going to hit that nicely. So I'm thinking, okay, Dynamic Punch, Swagger, T-Bolt. What could the last move be? Dahlia can take all of it. It is indeed the Surf. And Dahlia eats that up like it's nothing. Not only because she resists it, but I have the Light Screen up. So that is just great. So he's going to go for the Swagger and miss. I'm just going to go with the Stab Sludge Bomb. It's going to do a ton of damage. Bring that guy down to the Dark Red. And I am going to be sitting in here really nicely. I actually want to go for the Stun Spore because I'm thinking he might switch out. I figure Swagger's kind of a dangerous risk, and considering how fast Raichu is, it's kind of a pivot and might be useful later in the game. That is the reason I went for that attack. I thought he'd switch, but he didn't. So he's going to be switching now into Flareon, and I'm going to be confused, and I am going to hit my Sludge Bomb. And the Flareon, it actually does a pretty decent chunk. At first I thought it was a critical hit from that damage range, but it's not, because Flareon actually has a much higher special defense base than its defense base. So now here comes something incredibly scary. I'm going to switch out into my Phoenix Wright once again, and here comes Growth Flareon, ladies and guys. This is the main and only generation that the Eevee clan gets Growth, and they abuse it to its full potential. And now he's going to be baton passing this thing. So now you've got Growth, Baton, Fast, a Fire move, and something else. He's going to be switching out into Quillfish. I thought he may have something like that on his team because Quillfish is also very common and underused to set up spikes and shenanigans. So I'm just going to go for the Earthquake. Hits it very nicely on the switch. And I'm going to be switching out into Vileplume again, predicting this thing to have either Surf or Hydro Pump, and it is boosted by Growth, so it's not something that my defense attorney, I don't want him to get washed up before the case even begins. So, Needles is going to take this opportunity to set up some entry hazards. I'm just going to start spreading Para all over this team, because the way I've got this team designed, it is very beneficial to have that paralysis support. So I'm switching to Zetronius again. Zetronius is just going to be standing in here. Needles is going to get paralyzed. I do have the Stab Thunderbolt. I figure he probably will switch out into whatever he has now that resists it, considering his Raichu was his main resistance to my Electabuzz, even though its Dynamic Punch was subpar damage. So now he goes into this Hitmontop. Now Hitmontop is very specially defensive. The only thing about the second generation Hitmontop is you guys have to remember that Mach Punch wasn't near strong back then, but Priority was very nice considering there wasn't very much of. And Curse, Hidden Power Ghost, either High Jump Kick or Mach Punch, or Rolling Kick in this case. So he's going to be switching out into Nom Noms, his Chansey, and I'm going to switch into Weapon X, who is still asleep. Now, at this point, when I see this pink blob, I'm just like, this damn thing has Heal Bell, doesn't it? So there goes all of that. All that paralysis, all that time spent, it's all over. All those things are now unparalyzed, and this is a potential issue because now I'm going to have to deal either all that paralysis over or get rid of this thing before I try to respread it. So that is very, very unfortunate for me. As I bring in Phoenix Wright, I know I'm going to have to switch out knowing he's going to either Surf. He predicts my switch very nicely, goes for the D-Punch. D-Punch being super effective both on Sudowoodo and dealing a pretty nice bit of damage to anything I could have switched in here. It was definitely the optimal play. Now, I'm going to go for the Hidden Power. Just Hidden Power, take it out. I know it's going to take it out. Luckily, I break Confusion on the first try. So down goes that special attacking threat Raichu. He definitely was very, very wise keeping it for later because that thing is fast and can do a lot of work. So next up is going to be this Flareon. Once again, I'm just going to set up Light Screen. Since I've seen Growth and I know it's going to have a fire attack, I'm guessing, and now I see the Zap Cannon, I'm guessing now this thing is pretty much specially oriented all the way around. Growth to complement its special attack, which is quite a bit more lacking than its physical attack. So now I'm going to be switching into Phoenix Wright once again, and he's going to hit this Zap Cannon. Now I know Zap Cannon is going to do a decent amount of damage. My curious thing here is, after seeing the Growth, I'm sure it has the fire move of the Zap Cannon. Does it have a hidden power of some kind that could do a lot of damage to me? Now, I want to be careful what I go for here because I would personally just love the Boom because I feel like that is the best option. I don't have to worry about any predictions of Rock Slide or Earthquake or what he's going to switch in or how much damage it's going to deal. I'm just going to go Boom, take this defensive threat out of the way, because technically the thing I needed to deal with it is actually asleep. Slowking definitely could have handled that for me. So, now it's once again Flareon versus Electabuzz. And I feel that this match kind of favors Electabuzz because he's just a very nice dual-sided tank. He really does very, very well in the underused environment. He's worked out excellently as a dual screener for me. So, now, after that Thunderbolt, he's going to be switching into Nom Noms. I know that Chansey can take Thunderbolts for days. It doesn't even have to try. So I'm thinking to myself, the way I've got my team designed, I just need either some Para on this thing just to force its Heal Bell so I can deal physical damage to it, or I just need to get rid of it in general. So I'm going to bring in Orgoth, the Relentless. This time he doesn't have a big sword, but he does have a lot of attack. Going to kick that Berserk Gene off. That's a +2 right off the bat. And here we go. So I'm going to start off with the Lovely Kiss, predicting the switch, knowing he's not going to want to take the physical attack. And he chooses the Jumpluff, telling me he wants to sack the Jumpluff. But unfortunately, that Lovely Kiss is not going to go through, and the Toxic is going to wear down my Orgoth so badly, because now you've got Toxic and Leech Seed and attack damage to deal with on top of Confusion damage, and that's definitely going to wear down even the bulkiest top dog in tanks up in this brawl. So that's a big, big problem. I'm down to 127 here. Just not sitting very well versus this Jumpluff. I know the Hidden Power, especially seeing that it is the stabbed Hidden Power flying by that damage, it does quite a bit. I'm going to hit myself at 57, and that is going to be taking Orgoth down. So he did not get to do anything. Had I gone for the return, I could have taken out that Chansey. Now, I know iFly is still my best chance to take this Chansey out, but what I've got to be careful of is the Toxic residual. If I come in on a turn of Toxic, it's going to wear down my entire Endure Flail plan, and it's just not going to work out. So, this thing decides to stay in. Obviously, he wanted to sack it because he wanted to sack it last turn, so I'm just going to do it a favor, Drill Peck it, and take it down, as he's going to bring in this Quillfish once again. Now, I know Quillfish probably can take this return really well, being that Quillfish is super, super, super defensive, and it can indeed take it very well. I've got to be very careful here. He actually plays it really, really well, because the other item, if it's not a Rest Halt variant, it's usually a Miracle Berry variant, which is what I have right here, in case of Para, Poison, etc. with Flail. And that's going to be a problem, because now I have to worry even more about this Chansey's Toxic. Because if that Toxic gets afflicted onto me, it is going to be a massive, massive problem for me. So Dahlia is not taking those Sludge Bombs near as well as I'd like her to. But I need to get Leech Seed Recovery back on to my Dodrio so that I can easily set up my Endure Flail combination. Because like I said, I'm going to need all the help I can, especially if I have to have a turn where I have to be Toxic against that Chansey. That's going to be a very major issue that I'm going to have to deal with effectively. So, Leech Seed and Moonlight stalling going on here, just wearing this Quillfish down. That is what I need to do. Now I need to bring in Weapon X, and I need to burn Sleep turns. And he knows I'm going to be bringing that in. He knows he's got the Zap Cannon. Zap Cannon, actually, I have calced it. It is a 3-hit KO guaranteed on Slowking because of high special defense. It might even be 2 with max plus damage roll. And he's going to Baton Pass directly out, and he's going to go directly out back into Nom Noms, as I am not going to be waking up on this turn. And I know he's got Toxic. The question is, Toxic and Heal Bell, what else are you carrying? You definitely have Soft Boiled, and yeah, you definitely have Soft Boiled. So what attacking move do you have? You have Flamethrower. He calls it perfectly, because Vileplume dealing a little bit of damage with its physical Sludge Bombs is going to help me wear this Chansey down. And he knows that. He knows that I need to basically come in here, set up Leech Seed, and help wear this Chansey down with Sludge Bombs and Moonlights and Leech Seeds. And I've got to try to deal with these Flamethrowers, because they're actually dealing quite a bit of damage, even though I can recover after the fact. Her getting burned and me not being able to get rid of it would be a massive, massive problem. So he's going to be switching back into the Flareon on this Sludge Bomb. It's not going to deal too much. He's going to be in the Dark Red, and I'm going to get the Poison Affliction, which is absolutely wonderful, because I'm going to need that to continue to wear down the rest of his team. Now, he knows I'm going to switch into my Slowking here, because I need to burn those turns. And of course, I'm still going to be asleep. So he just needs to get a Zap Cannon off to see how much damage it's going to do to me. And as you guys see, it's going to pause for just a second, and he's actually going to hit the Zap Cannon. It's going to do a ton of damage. Like I said, a guaranteed 3-hit KO, even factoring leftovers. I'm at 226. I'm still asleep, but I'm still sitting and walling attacks pretty nicely. And this Chansey is going to come in, and I cannot do anything to this Chansey. But my thought process was, okay, I've still got Electabuzz, I've still got Slowking. I need things to basically take hits from this Chansey and deal a little bit of damage and paralyze this thing so I can slowly wear it down. Because, like I said, I've got to play this Flail correctly. I know Flail at 1 HP will guarantee to one-shot Chansey. I've just got to play it correctly. I can't, just randomly come in on a Flamethrower when I feel like it. Because part of me was like, okay, I'm going to go to Vileplume right now and just wear it down with Sludge Bomb. So I was like, you know what? I just don't want to take that extra damage. There's just no reason to not play cautiously here and go into Zetronius, because I still have it. Now, while Zetronius himself can't do any direct damage to this Chansey, he definitely can help wear it down and also set up Light Screen for team support to help both Dahlia and Dodrio out in the long run. So he's going to be switching back out into this Quillfish. Mind you, he only has Quillfish and Chansey left at this point, and I've already seen how much damage the Sludge Bomb does. There's really no point to continually stall this match out. I just want to go ahead and paralyze this tank, because again, it will help me. I don't see any chance that he could have rest or anything. And it's actually, now that I think about it, late game, the Toxic and the Sludge Bomb are pretty much equal threats, because both of which, the Sludge Bomb being a 1 in 3 chance to poison me, will definitely ruin my Flail Sweep. So I've got to be wary of that too. But luckily, Weapon X decided to wake up during the course of the last 4 turns that he has actually shown himself. So that is going to make dealing with this thing even easier, and he knows that, so he's got to go back into his chances to take this special attack, and Lord, does it take it ever. So now, basically after the light screen is going to go down, I really don't have anything physical other than Dodrio to bring in. So here's what's going to happen. He is actually going to get fully paired right here, and that flamethrower would have killed me. But luckily, I'm just going to go for the Endure. I actually predicted him to go for the Heal Belt on that turn. He told me it was the flamethrower, which would have ruined my Dodrio chances. And as I have already said, a 1 HP Flail is a guaranteed one-shot stab, 200 base power at 1 HP. That is the power. That is what it is. And down goes this massive, massive special threat to the rest of my team. He's going to bring in his last Pokemon, being his Quillfish. And his Quillfish is way over the green. I'm actually surprised that Flail knocks this thing clean out. So thank you guys for that game. I hope you guys have enjoyed this UU game and my second submission to Mount Silver Battles. Comment, rate, subscribe, and check out my channel. And peace!